Hello everyone, myself Saurabh Maheshwari and I welcome you all to the ongoing lecture series in C programming. We are doing the topic structures, and by the means of structure we can create some complex data type in C programming. These data type may include multiple elements, multiple members of fundamental data types. So in the previous video we saw how to declare structures and how to create structure variables, how to access them, how to make the structure as a user defined data type. Then we saw how to access the variables of the structure and how to make the global variables and local variables of the structured data type. And then we saw how to store data of a particular book with the structure program in the form of C programming. Now in this video we will see that how to create structure arrays. So as we know that integer a, b, c, suppose these three integers are easy to maintain, but if you have multiple data of the same data type, then you have to create some array, so which may have multiple items of the same data type. So since structures are also data types, but they are user defined data types, so arrays of these data types which are user defined data types, so arrays of user defined data type can also be created, so that multiple members, multiple elements of the same user defined data type can be created. We will try to understand this concept from the programming point of view with the help of a program snippet. Then here we can see that this book has these following attributes. So these are the attributes of a particular entity, that is book. Okay, now suppose if the earlier what we created is a single variable of the name book. Okay, so it was only a single variable. Suppose we created like that b1 semicolon. So what does it mean? It is a single book. Okay, single book which have all of the attributes it inside it. Okay, now suppose we don't require a single book, but we require multiple books. Suppose we require 5 books. So what we can do, we can create an array of the struct data type, of the structure data type, of the user defined data type, so that we can store multiple books together. So here we have created the array of the name B and with 5 elements. So now what these 5 elements would be, that is B0, B1 and so on to B4. Okay, now it means they are, each of the item denotes to a book and there are total 5 books that can be stored. Obviously each of the book will have its own attribute. Okay, so if there, suppose 5 attributes are there, so each of the book will have 5 attributes there individually. Okay, so the B0 would have a book ID. Similarly, B1 is also going to have a book ID, B4 is also going to have a book ID, and so on. So in this way, to store multiple data items of the structured data type, we can create its array. Now let us see this with the help of an example where we try to store data of 2 books with the help of the structure. Okay, so here you can see that this structure has been defined, and for this structure an array has been created. So array of user defined data type. Okay, so this is the array of the user defined data type struct book has been created. Now here you can see that we have chosen n equals to 2. It means we are looking for storage of the 2 books data, although the space allows for 5 books, but currently for the sake of the understanding, we are looking for only storage of the 2 books. Now one thing that you have to note, that how to access the member variables. These are the member variables how to access these member variables from the name of the array or the array variable. Okay, so here you can see that we have printed a message, then we have printed that what needs to be entered, that is the book id. Then we take the book id as integer, and like look here for the syntax how to scan. We know that the member elements are accessed with the help of operator. So after dot operator, we have written the member variable. Now before, when there was only struct book B1. Now earlier when there was only a single book, so we written ampersand B1 here. Okay, so that is address of B1, and up in that memory block we look for the memory which has been reserved for book ID. So this memory belongs to B1, and this is ampersand B1, that is the base address of this block, and in this block this is the place reserved for book ID. Okay, so writing this ampersand b1 book id would access this particular space, and any value that would be scanned with the help of this ampersand would get stored in this memory location. Okay, now here since we don't have this single variable, but we have the variable placed in the form of index. Okay, so we would use individual element. We will access the individual element with the help of the index. So this is b0. Now what would be the id of the fifth element, that is b4 dot book id. Okay, so in this way this this can be the index. This index can be simply converted into this I. Okay, so in this way we can use this loop to access all the indexes. Then we have put f flush stdin to clear the, okay, clear the stdin standard input through the because of the enter that is given after the scanf. Then we try to get the input name. Now here you can see that earlier we were writing like this b1 dot b name. You can see this in the previous video. Okay, so but instead here we are writing like this bi dot b name. So since each of the element is now part of an array, and it would be accessed with the help of this index. So that is why we are writing here get as bi dot b name. Then we again print a message, then we take the author name, then we again print a message, and then we take the number of pages, and similarly we take the input the price of the book. Here after taking the input in this loop, in through this loop would run for the all number of books. Since here there are two books, so this loop will run two times. Otherwise, if there are a maximum number of five books are allowed, so we can take five books at a time in this array. Okay, so if I ask you the size of this particular book, okay, so if this particular array, that is size of B, if I ask, so it would be 5 multiplied by size of structure book. Okay, so if individual size of structure book is 150, so the overall size of this array would be 150 into 5, that is 750. So this is how the size of the array of a structure book data type is calculated. Okay, now we will see how to get the values printed. So we want to get printed, so this is what the values we have entered differently. You can see this with the help of example. These are the details of this is the book this is book 1, this is the details of book 1, and this is the details of book 2. Then we print the details of the book within the form of a table. So here to create the form of table, we have tried to align these with the sizes that we have defined over here, that amount of the number of spaces that would be required. So we have aligned them properly with the help of percent %s. Okay, this syntax is used, that is writing percent %30s means this string 30 spaces would be reserved for printing of this string. Similarly, the author name would be would take 20 spaces to print the string. In this way, we have aligned them in the form of the table. Okay. Now while printing of the items, we use again a loop. This loop would be running two times because there are two books, because value of n is 2 here. Okay, so this loop will run two times, and every time in a single iteration, it is going to print the value of the particular book. So initially, it will print the value of all books 0, and then it will print the value of all member elements of the book 1. In this way, we get this is for B0. Okay, now and this is we get receive for B1. Okay, so in this way we can store and print data of multiple books with the help of structure array. Okay, so now we will see that how to create a pointer to the structure. So we know that if we have a integer a, then we have a integer pointer p. We require a pointer of the same data type for storing of the particular data. So if this is a, it is going to have storage at 1000, suppose, and then it is going to have some value, that is a equals to 5. So this is going to like this. Then there is p. The p would having be like address 2000, and its name is p. And when you assign p equals to ampersand a, so this is what ampersand a, and it is going to assign to the p, and as it happens, it starts pointing to a. So this pointer is used to point a. Now suppose we have a structure struct book, okay, and its member variable, its variable, that is b1. Okay, so as this happens, a block of memory is created whose name is b1, and it is going to have some base address. Suppose this is 1000, so this is the base address, and it is called as ampersand b1. Okay, now now the if I do like that, we require to store the address of a variable in inbuilt data types. We require the pointer variable of the same data type. So here to store the address of a user defined data type, user defined data type, we would require a pointer of the same type. Okay, struct book pointer p. Okay, so as this would happen, this would be a pointer. Okay, it is going to be stored at a particular location, suppose at 2000, its name is p. And as soon as you do like this, p equals to ampersand b1, so what happens, that is the base address of, because b1 is a block of suppose 150 bytes, so all the 150 bytes need not to be pointed. Okay, only the base address of this block of the bytes, that is the ampersand b1. So this 1000 will get stored, and now this p is going to point to b1. So this is the concept of pointing, concept of using of pointer to the structure. So we have a simple structure variable, then we have a pointer variable, and this pointer variable will be assigned to the base address of the block of the address of the structure variable. Okay, now how to access the member elements. So by using the normal variable, that is struct book b1. Okay, now creating this particular variable, we access the various elements, that is suppose we access the book id, so we use b1 dot book id. Okay, so dot operator is used to access a particular member variable from the structure variable. Okay, so this is a normal structure variable. Now suppose if I create struct book pointer p. Okay, now here we have created a pointer p. So that is going to point p equals to ampersand b1. So it is going to point b1. And now if I want to access this b1 through the pointer, this b1 dot book id through the pointer, so we will use the arrow operator p arrow, and then we are going to use book id. Okay, so the same member variable is accessed differently um, from the structure variable and structure pointer. From structure variable, it is accessed with the help of dot operator, and here it is accessed with the help of arrow operator. Okay, arrow operator is simply writing hyphen and the greater than equal to greater than sign. Okay, so To access any member variable from the pointer variable, we use the arrow operator. We can see this with the help of this example. Here we have a structure of the name book. It has some elements here. Now we have also defined the type def of this book. We have created a user defined data type which is book. So anywhere now we can use only this book name to create a variable or a pointer uh, for the particular structure. Okay, so now we will see how to create the variables. Here you can see that in this line number 14 we have created b1. So b1 is a variable of the type book. Okay, so it is going to be a book, and pointer p is a pointer to a particular book. Okay, and look at here that this pointer is not an integer pointer, it is not a character pointer, and it is not a float pointer, but it is of type book. Okay, so why it is type of book? Because the pointers have to be of the same data type as it want to store the address for. So we want to store address of b1 here, so we will write like this. So suppose b1 is created here and its base address is ampersand b1, and we have a p over here, and it is on stored as 2000, it is stored at 1000. So as soon as we run this statement number 15, so this 1000 gets stored here and p starts pointing to this block b1. Okay, now let us see how to input the values of the variable with the help of this. We are going to input values with the help of the normal variable input, with the help input through normal variable, through normal variable, and we will try to see output through pointer to variable. Okay, so the only difference that you have to notice is the syntax of the access. Here in all the statements of the input that we have seen earlier also, a dot operator has been used to access the member variable. The syntax you can note, and ampersand has been used because of the scanf of the values. Okay, so here dot operator is used, but while printing of the values here, okay, you can note that the arrow operator has been used. Arrow operator has been used since p is the pointer to the this structure variable. So all the elements would be accessed, all the member elements of the structure can be accessed with the help of arrow operator only. This is the syntax for C programming. So we can only use the arrow operator to access the member variables. These are the member variables. So to access these member variables, we have to use dot operator while accessing from the normal variable, and use arrow operator while accessing from the pointer variable.